Are you listening? Damn.
So I just got back from driving Evie to work. No, not to work. Driving Evie to school. She rode the bus with her sister all last week, and then Dr. Sanchez said I should be able to drive farther, and so I figured I better just get to the school down and see how it works with my arms now. It was making them feel super swollen. They feel a little swollen, but nothing bad right now. I've discovered that when I'm doing bigger tasks, like yesterday, I cleaned and I cooked different things. I mean, like I vacuumed a little, I did some laundry, I folded some laundry, and just cooked some different things. And my arms didn't hurt and they didn't swell. But like small tasks like driving, typing on a computer and writing, and then last night I was rubbing my husband's feet, and it really bothers my arms. Like it hurts my armpits and it swells up my arms. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but that's what's happening to me. But bigger task where I don't know, it's strange. I took all the tape off of my arms. I will get a video of them and insert it here. I just worked on it. So the tape is like this thick on your arms, and so I would work on getting the areas around the incisions up and like water running on them, and then I would cut them and cut it down to where it was pretty much just a tiny bit over my incision, and then work on flipping little pieces of that up so water could get down in it. And the other day in the shower, I let it get really, really wet and soggy, and I just tried to pull on one, and it's not like it was stuck to my incision, it was just like more stuck to the hairs on my arms. So it pulled up pretty easy and without any pain, and there's no openings on my arms. My left arm has like a little scab where my bicep is. The right one has scabs pretty much all up and down it, but closed pretty good, and the areas that are closed look really good. There is a lot of dry skin, like because the tape started to feel really, really hard and get really, really dry, and so my right arm is pretty dry around my incision, but I don't think anyways, and I'm not going to put anything on it until the incisions are entirely closed. So right now I am putting some like silicone gel on the areas, any of my incisions that are closed, completely. So that's like my belly, underneath my areolas, a lot of my left arm, pretty much my entire back. My sides are pretty scabbed up. That seemed like an area with a lot of blood and trauma to it. I don't know. My right side seemed to be a little bit more problematic than my left. There was an extra stitch. Oh, I also want to talk about that. So I took the tape off underneath my areola. So since I have like a lift, there's a line, an incision right down underneath my areola. And the left one, everything looked great. And the right one, right underneath my areola, was a stitch that had to be removed. And I remember the doctor, like right after surgery, they told me, you have stitches in your belly button and underneath your areola that's gonna need removed. And then before I got ready to leave, a week later, I had asked them, I'm like, okay, so the incisions the stitches I need to remove are in my belly button and on my areola. And they were like, no, just to your belly button. So I was like, okay. But then I pulled down that tape and there is a black stitch, plain as day, just like in my belly button, right underneath my areola. And luckily it wasn't too far in there or anything. And I mean, it was in there pretty good, but he was still able to tug on it a little bit and pull it out, and it was a stitch, black stitch, just like my belly button stitches that did need removed. So we got that out of there and everything's fine. But anyway, so my right areola needed that stitch, and it's recovering a little slower than my left one. My right arm has way more, like I told you, like way more scabbing up and down it. My left side over here beside my boob, you can't see, I'm not tall enough, that goes around to my back, it has a lot more scabs than this side over here. So, and then except my extended tummy tuck, my right side on my hip area looks way better right now than my left one. My left one is just a little, how do you word it, like crinkled up looking, like you know it's gonna smooth out. So if you don't know, when you get a tummy tuck, it can, I don't know the right word right now, it's not coming to me, like puckering of the skin. It can look like that, and then it will like smooth out as it heals. So it's not bad at all. There's just a little bit more puckering on the left side and there's none on the right side. So I don't know. That's pretty much it, is just getting all the tape off. What you saw me doing in that last clip was my range of motion that I'm working on every day. They told me I could move my arms more, and they said just, you know, if it's pulling a little bit, that's good, but if it's painful, you're doing too much. So every day I'm just trying to move them in all different directions and all different ways. I'm still wearing, as you can see, my sleeves. They've not said anything about my sleeves at all. They don't really talk about my arms. When we send pictures, they don't even ask for my arms. It's just like a front and back view. So and all they've ever said is like, all right, everything looks good. Everything looks good. So I don't know when, I mean, I like having the sleeves on. It makes my arms feel more secure, but I know that they're supposed to come off between 4 and 6 weeks. So maybe he'll say something at 6 weeks, but he hasn't even really seen my arms. But I did tell them they were swelling when I tried to drive, so maybe that's what they go off of. I'm not sure, but I'm really gonna focus on the range of motion and really work on them, because I'm refused to go to anything like pay money for any kind of physical therapy or anything for my arms. I've already paid enough for this body. I have time to work on it myself and figure out what I need to do, hopefully. Oh, and he told me I could work on laying flat. I can lay flat. I guess because since I can stand up straight, I can lay flat. So I tried on the bed. I'm still sleeping in my recliner. I really like it. It really helps me get up without moving my stomach too much. It's comfortable, but I did try to lay on the bed the other day flat, and I could. Okay, I wanted to quickly just discuss some things that I'm eating right now. I've kind of already done like what I'm eating, you know, to recover after skin removal surgery, and it hasn't changed much. I'm still doing yogurt and P3 protein packs and all those kind of things, but just kind of a quick overview. So I'm trying to get in as much protein I can. So I'm really trying to make every meal and snack that I eat have some source of protein in it. I do drink Premier Protein morning and evening. I don't do that on a regular basis. Like before I had surgery, I had my Premier Protein every morning. I'm adding one in the evening too, just to help me get the highest possible protein level as I can. So I'm having my Chobani yogurt in the morning, a Premier Protein with coffee. After that, snacks usually include, we have our own chickens, which means we have farm fresh eggs. So eggs, cheese sticks. I have Built bars, which are my favorite protein bars, and you have to order them online. I have a video on the ones I like. So I usually have that as an afternoon snack. Just any little thing that I can add in that has some kind of protein, I usually try to do it. I'm also adding, before I had surgery, I kind of looked up like foods that are good for healing. And so berries was one of the items. And so blueberries are the cheapest and my favorite at this time. So I usually always have blueberries, and I'm putting them in my yogurt. I'm putting them when I have an egg. I might grab a handful of blueberries. I'm trying to add those in. Carbohydrates, I know people get scared of those, especially like weight loss patients, people trying to lose weight, but my body is doing a lot to heal itself. So I do try to add in some carbs, not an overload, but I have been eating sweet potatoes and baked potatoes. That was on the list. And when I say like I eat these potatoes, I can't eat very much. And so my potato that I eat is like this big. And then of course, this isn't eating, but all the water. So I at least have 4 bottle waters a day. I try to have a Powerade Zero for all the electrolytes. Other sources of protein include imitation crab, like sliced turkey or ham. For dinners, I'm gonna have like pork chop, chicken. I made an egg salad that has our farm fresh eggs in it, ham, and some peas. And then on the list also were carrots and cabbage, so I snack on those sometimes. So I'm sure a doctor could tell you what foods, but I just looked it up. Oh, and nuts and seeds. So I have like sunflower seeds, cashews, almonds, stuff like that. So I'm really just doing an assortment of foods, really focusing on protein, but just trying to give my body as much energy and, fuel it so it can get my body healed. So that's the food I'm kind of doing. And I'm not tracking anything right now. I am just trying to eat as my body feels hungry and just give it good stuff to fuel it. So I've cut my old faja, it's still under here. So let me show you this. Let me back up and show you. So my faja they gave me in Mexico, right here. It was an extra large, and I got to the 3rd hook with lipofoam pretty quickly. I asked Dr. Sanchez about the swelling in my stomach, and he's like, well, you probably need tighter compression. So he's like, you can either take your faja to a seamstress to get it taken in, or just get a smaller faja. And I had already ordered like the stage 2 faja, and this one doesn't have any clips up or zippers or anything, it's just a pull up. And it's a size large. So I measured myself and it's size large. And of course they come in looking like they're this big around. So I went to put on this black faja. I look pregnant, look. I have this faja on, I have lipofoam here, and I have a bunch of lipofoam here, and then this one. So I always talk to Josh about like my baby and my belly. So when I went to pull this black one on, it could not get past my butt and my hips. Like when I didn't have this faja on, I could not get this black one up. So, but I need this compression, and I didn't want to rip off my hips, as I told my husband. So I decided to keep this faja on and just keep working and wear this one over it until my hips shrink enough where I feel comfortable pulling it on. Usually he has to help me, but today, and this one just unsnaps right here. So to go to the bathroom, you just unsnap it here and pull it up and then put it back. So today I just unsnapped it and worked it up my body and snapped it back up, and this is how I'm wearing it. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll get whatever swelling's left here down, and we can just get the black one up itself. It sounds crazy, might be the only person to do this, but it's what's working for me right now. So it's just an idea. If you can't get your new faja on, just double them up until your body shrinks down enough to get the other one on. I've never had like hips or butt, but because my rib cage, around my rib cage now, is so small, like it's the part being squeezed the most, like constantly right here, it's just tiny, like it's constantly being squeezed. It makes my hips and butt area look like bam. And so lots of things fit my, well, you know, when I get it up here, it'll be fine, but down here with the swelling, I've never had this problem before. So this is what we're doing now. And I usually have this buttoned all the way up. This goes to my sleeves, but it was just putting so much pressure on the bottom of my boobs. And I felt like maybe it's not letting them drop properly. They have dropped a lot. So I just button the bottom one to hold my sleeves on and then just leave this loose so nothing's putting pressure down here on my boobs. I would also like to note that I have not sneezed in almost 6 weeks. I do not dare. Anytime I even feel a tickle, I start this and sucking in through my nose and just doing everything I can to not have that happen. I have had no big coughs. I had a couple yesterday, little coughs, and it was uncomfortable. I mean, it didn't hurt like it did when I first got the surgery done, but I'm definitely gonna hold off on both of those for as long as possible. So no sneezing for weeks. Also, this is what I look like when I go pick up my kid. Usually I have slippers on, but today I put boots on. Got my jammy pants. I got a coat with everything underneath. And then sometimes I unhook this so it's not as serious, like, so I don't scare children with just this strap across my chest, or adults. But today we're gonna leave it, we're gonna stay strapped.